Yo, the long-awaited graphics tutorial is finally here, guys. You guys have absolutely been crushing the comments down below asking for my updated Reshade settings. And so today's video, we're going to be going over the Reshade, how to install all my presets, as well as a bunch of in-game graphics supporting PC that includes Epic Games and Steam and console in this tutorial. We're going to be going over the best quality for you guys, giving you the best FPS and the best performance out of Dead by Daylight in 2025. I highly recommend you guys stick to the end, as I do have a ton of tips and tricks along the way that you guys will not want to miss on. As always, be sure to like and subscribe if this video helps you out in any way, as well as drop a comment if you need any help. I'll be helping out as many of you guys as I can, and join the Discord down below as everybody else can help each other as well. Without further ado, let's get right into this tutorial. I'm not trying to waste any time. All right, so for the very first step, you're going to want to go to the description and join my Discord. This is going to have the folder in my download section of the cord. From there, what you're going to want to do is download the zip folder, and it will have everything you guys need that I have in this video for the tutorial. If you guys are on console, do not worry. Just watch until the end, and I'll show you guys how to get your settings up too. All right, now once you guys have joined the Discord, you want to click the Windows key and type local app data %. Once you're there, just click the folder. It should open up. You guys are going to see a bunch of your personal folders. Go until you see Dead by Daylight and click it. You're going to see two sections, intermediate and saved. Go to save. You can see a bunch of shit here. Ignore it and click config. Now from here, this is where it's going to depend on what you guys are on. If you guys are on Epic Games, it's going to be EGS for you. And if you're on Steam, it's going to be Windows client. So depending on what you guys are going to want to click, just click it and it should look the exact same. Now in the zip folder, I'm actually going to provide you guys with my game user settings. So if you guys literally want to copy paste exactly what my game looks like, then just drag and drop the game user settings. But this will change your sensitivity. And so I highly recommend that you just follow along right now. First things first, you guys are going to want to search through until you find game user settings.ini. Right click it, go to properties, and make sure that it's not on read only. If it is on read only, uncheck it. There might be a little pop-up. Just click OK, then click apply. From there, you're going to want to open it, and you see a long list of settings and a bunch of values. The main thing we're going to be focusing on is actually at the very start, where it's a bunch of values for graphics. Now, as a DVD content creator, I do want to have my game looking pretty decent and not super low quality for you guys. And so I do have kind of medium-ish high settings when it comes to texture quality. Now, if you guys do want to have the exact same settings, you can just copy paste these and it won't affect your sensitivity at all. However, if you guys do want to customize it, the values go from 0 all the way up to 4. Now, on ultra quality of Dead by Daylight, it only shows 3. But it has been proven that 4 does enhance your quality as well. Now, I will have presets set in the zip folder as well with the notepad. So if you guys do want to put on presets that I have made for you guys, by all means, literally just copy paste them in. However, if you guys do want my settings, then I will tell you how to do them. So I have my resolution quality at 100. You never really want to lower this unless you have a really terrible PC, as it will make your game look way more pixely. So I have this at 100%. View distance quality, you always want this max. So I have it at 3. Anti-aliasing, this makes the edges smoother, but also makes your gameplay very blurry. So I put this at 0. Shadow quality, now this is just overall shadows and just movement. It could actually be a competitive advantage in certain scenarios. So I always want to keep this at 2 or 3. Post-processing quality really doesn't do that much, so I just keep it at 0. Now, this is where it becomes a little sensitive and dependent on what you guys do. So as a DVD content creator, I do want my texture quality pretty high so it looks decent for you guys. And so I have mine all the way cranked up to 3. But if you guys do want the most performance, I'd recommend maybe 1 to 0. Now, effects quality is the same sort of thing. I recommend going from 2 to 1-ish, bouncing between there and seeing what works for you. However, for me as a content creator, I do want to have it maxed, so I put it at 3. Now, this one is absolutely massive. I do not want to hear any debates in the comments. This is needed. If you are playing Dead by Daylight, you need to have your foliage quality on 0. If you have any other value other than 0, you are at a disadvantage. And I'll quickly explain. So basically, foliage is pretty much like foliage, I guess. It's literally what it is. So grass, bushes, etc. If you're on killer, survivors can hide in it. If you're on survivor, a killer could be hidden behind one. Like, this is the main thing that you need to change. So make sure this is on 0 always. Shading quality, this is the same as shadow quality. I always like to have them usually at the same. So I keep it at 2. If you do want ultimate performance, like I said, put it to 0 or 1. Now, global illumination and reflection quality, I believe, is new. And to be honest, I haven't been in my settings since the first time I made it. But I'm actually going to lower these values down to 1 each. Now, reflection quality probably isn't that big of a deal. It's literally just the reflections. But the reflections on this game are complete dog ass. So you might even want to put this to 0. Which is what I'm going to do. All right, from here, you want to scroll down until you see screen resolution, full screen, and volume. Now, these are what my volume settings are. I have a mixer, so 10 volume sounds a lot different for me than it does for you. So this is up to you guys. You don't even have to swap it really in this. However, just remember, if you guys are going to turn it on to read only, you do have to go in the settings to switch the volume. So if you're somebody to switch your volume a lot, just leave it. Now from here, you're going to want to go down just a little bit until you see these settings here. Now we're going to start off with resolution. This is the exact same as what you had above, so make sure it's at 100. And if you have a pretty bad PC, I'd put it to 95, and at the lowest 80, just to keep some visibility, because past 80, I almost guarantee you won't be able to see shit. And so after resolution, you want to make sure that this says full screen equals true. If it's on false, make sure it says true. All of these things are kind of just to each his own, so I just leave it like this. You want to scroll down to where it says use vsync and make sure this says false. If it says true, just type in FALSE. I can't type for shit. There we go. But what vsync does is actually give you an insane amount of input lag. And so you're going to want to make sure this stuff is off. What it does is it caps your FPS at 60, but it syncs your frames at the same time, which gives you a ton of input lag. So make sure this is on false. You can actually change this in game. However, if you want to make sure that it never turns on, make sure it's on false. From there, you're going to see resolution, size, X and Y. Ignore this here. This is whenever I used to do stretch. Now, I do have a 1440p monitor, so these values might look different. In most cases, it's going to be 1920 by 1080. So just make sure that's 1920 by 1080. Or if you're on 1440p, then it's 2560, then 1440. After this, you're going to scroll down to full screen mode and make sure that this equals 1. Ignore the last confirmed full screen mode, but actually make sure that this is 1 as well. Copy these values and you should be good. We're going to go down the list again, and it's going to be frame limit. Make sure this is at 120. Now, Dead by Daylight has an FPS cap in game now, and they didn't a while ago, but I never want to accidentally log in and be at 60 FPS, so I make sure to turn this 120 in the settings here. Now, this is the exact same stuff as last time as well. Just make sure that your resolution is the same. And then you're going to want to scroll down all the way to FPS limit. Make sure this is on 120. Now, once you guys have finished that, you guys are going to want to go down to where you see FPS limit mode, anti-aliasing mode, and FSR, as well as sharpness value. Now, these are brand new settings as well. And so you're going to want to make sure, like I said, to keep your FPS maxed at 120. Anti-aliasing, you're going to want to off, so turn it to 0. Now, FSR is sharpening, and so you're going to want to turn this to true. If it's on false, make sure it's true. This will make your game look a lot sharper, and it will be easier to see survivors or a killer. So make sure this is on true. Now, my personal value is 1.35. However, if you do want to test it out, you can change the values a little bit. However, I do recommend playing on 1.35. From here, you're going to make sure that your FOV, which is your field of view, is 103. Now, everything after this is literally just bogus. It doesn't matter, but you have to do one more step to make sure that this works. And so what you're going to want to do is go to File, Save, and then exit out. From here, you're going to want to right-click Game User Settings, Properties, go to Read Only, and check it off, and then click Apply. What this does is it makes it so you can literally not change your settings in-game. However, this is good because if you accidentally click something, it will not screw everything up. All you have to do is just restart your game and it should be fine. And now we're going to go over to the in-game side of things. All right, now once you guys are in your actual game, you want to head over to accessibility. And now this is heartbeat visual support. So what this does is it basically gives you a heartbeat for the terror radius of the killer. And I personally like having this on, but this is your preference. So if you don't want to have it, then just turn it off. But for me, I definitely want to have it on. Now, as for blood web interaction behavior, you guys definitely want this on press. Basically what this does is it makes it super easy to spend blood points, or at least easier than it usually is. And I'm pretty sure it gives you a middle button where you just get to toggle all of them. This is a must-have. Now over to the beta tab, I have first-person FOV all the way cranked up to 103. Now this is only for the killer. Maybe one day, who knows, they'll actually add it for survivor. But you might as well crank it up because it is competitive advantage at the end of the day. It gives you more like view of the whole map and all that, so you can find survivors easier. But I'm a survivor main, so I don't really care about this. Over on the graphics tab, now this is important. If you guys are on console, I'm pretty sure this should look a little bit different, but nonetheless, I'll go over all the settings that I have here. My quality is on low. You pretty much want it always low because then it lowers the foliage. In case you guys don't know, the foliage is just the grass and stuff and the bushes. And so if you guys have this actually like juiced up, then you're not going to be able to find survivors and you won't be able to see the killer very easy. So just make sure that your quality is on low. For screen resolution, this shouldn't be an issue unless you're noticing that you have a lot like of frame loss. So if you're on an old console, you might want to consider lowering this if this is even possible. Screen size, this is all dependent on what ratio you have on your monitor. I have a 1440p monitor, but you guys might have a 1080p monitor, so this might look different. As for the full screen mode, I play on windowed full screen. On console, I don't think it even shows this, so just ignore it. 16:9 aspect ratio. If you don't have this on, you're going to get black bars, I'm pretty sure. VSync, I've already been over this. VSync literally is terrible. It gives you a bunch of input lag, so turn this John off. As for FPS limit, this is a must-have. If you guys have the option, crank it up to 120 and make sure it stays there. This will give you a bunch of FPS. The default is 60, so doubling it is absolutely insane, and you'll feel the difference right away. For post-processing, I have FSR on. This actually makes your game look a lot clearer, and so I have it at 55%. Turn this on and then up it to 55. I'm pretty sure console has this option. If not, let me know. As for anti-aliasing, you don't want this on. If you turn this on, it makes everything look a little smoother, but it also makes everything really blurry at a distance, so you want to have this off. With these two combined, your game will look super clear compared to like default, and so this is an actual game changer. As for the XESS mode, this is like a super sampler or something like that, and pretty much what this does is just eats at your GPU. So turn this off. You don't need this. This is my UI HUD scale. I have it at 90%. My in-game HUD is 85, and then my skill check size is 100. but we all know I don't do gens, so I don't have to worry about that. This is all like mumbo jumbo. This actually doesn't matter, but if you guys do want my settings, they're here. Now over to the control tab. At interaction behavior, you guys are gonna need to have this on toggle. Trust me, this is another game changer, just like the blood web. Basically what this does is if you go into a gen, all you have to do is just tap your interaction button and then you're on it, and then tap to get off. It might take like a couple games to get used to, but trust me, this is gonna save your fingers. As for run to cancel, this is another necessity as well. Pretty much what this will do will make it so if your little Jimmy teammate is healing you and holding you down while the killer's coming, you can straight up just sprint and then it will cancel the heal. As for the input bindings, I'm not really gonna go over this much, but these are my keybinds, so if you guys want to, pause the video and then copy paste them. The only thing I really have different is just my interactions are different, and then I'm pretty sure that I have skill check on my mouse button, but that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's the graphic settings, at least in the game. So for the console gamers, this is pretty much it, aside from a couple of filters that I'll go over for your monitor. So stick until the end for that. All right, as for the Reshade side of things, what you guys want to do is just search Reshade really quick. The link will be down below in the description, as well as it will actually be in the zip folder, so you don't really have to install it. But if you don't trust it, by all means, go to the site and install. If you guys don't already have the zip folder, make sure to download it. But what you guys want to do is basically just click download. Go to download Reshade 6.3.3. Have it set up in a folder. Click save. It should start downloading. And now that it's finished, just open it up. From here, it will literally load every single application that Reshade can actually attach itself to. But in this case, we're going to want to search all the way down until we find Dead by Daylight. Now, if you guys are on Epic Games, you guys are going to want to go to Dead by Daylight EGS shipping. And if you're on Steam or Windows, you're going to want to go to Windows shipping here. And so they should be right on top of each other if you have both of them installed. But since I'm on Steam, I'm actually just going to click here and go next. Now, Dead by Daylight runs on DirectX 10, 11, 12, so we're going to click on this, click next. Now, since I already had this installed, it's actually going to say update Reshade only, but I'm actually going to go to update Reshade and effects so I can show you guys what to do. Now, the only effects we're going to want is the standard effects, the suite effects, Kubik shaders, color effects, as well as Astray effects. And once you have those all checked off, you can click next. But if you guys do want to somehow install every single other effect, you can just uncheck all and then check all again. After that, we're going to want to click next. Now it will install, and then you have successfully installed Reshade. From here, what you guys are going to want to do is literally just launch up Dead by Daylight. You will see that it actually loads up all the stuff, so it might take a little bit for the first time you ever launch with Reshade. However, once you guys are done, you're going to want to click the home button. However, a lot of you guys might actually have a 75% keyboard or smaller and it doesn't have the home button. In that case, you guys want to click the function key, which is FN, hold it down, and then click end. That is the shortcut for home. And so once you're there, you guys will have this pop up. Now this is Reshade inside of the game. And once you guys are here, it might look a little different. Don't worry about this red loading effects thing. It's because I had it installed before an older version. But all you're going to want to do is click over to this folder icon here and it will open up Reshade. Now this is the area that we're going to be dragging and dropping all the presets that I provide you guys in the file that I actually have in my Discord server. Again, if you guys haven't actually already downloaded it, join my Discord server and it will be in the downloads tab. From there, you're going to want to download it, extract it into a folder, and then it will have a bunch of these presets listed there. All right, so I actually just opened up the file that I provide you guys in the Discord, and from here you're going to want to go to where it says Aroz Reshade presets. Now these are all up to you guys. These are a bunch of different presets that I've used before in the past. As you can see, old Aroz filters. This is from the first tutorial I made a couple years ago, but this is my main preset. This is the Vibrant Reshade preset. Now if you guys do want to have exactly how my game looks whenever I record videos, this is the one I'm running right now. I do swap them up a lot though. If you guys do want the updated one, make sure you join the Discord and turn on the notice. From here, all you're going to need to do is literally drag this here, drop it in here, and then boom, you're done. You'll see it in the actual folder. Now from here, you can literally just get out of it. Go over here, it will open up a bunch of them, and you're going to want to scroll until you find it. So Vibrant, here we go. We click it, click select. It should load up, and then there you guys have it. Now I can give you guys a before and after really quick of what it looks like with it on and off. This is with no Reshade whatsoever. This is how console players are playing, but with Reshade on and the filters included, this is what your game looks like. Absolutely amazing, and I love it so much. As you guys can see, before we have the filters, this is how the game looks. Very dark, gloomy, and depressing. And to be completely honest, I have no idea how majority of players play like this, because this is just 110 times better. Yo, lastly for a tip, just open up Reshade one more time and then go down the bottom right here and click performance mode. Once you tick this off, you should be good. Might take a little bit to load for your first time, but if you're somebody that doesn't swap your Reshade presets, then you should be chilling. All this does is actually optimize the settings and makes your FPS even better than it already is. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Reshade side of things. Now over to Nvidia. All right, for this last step, we're going to be using Nvidia. If you guys don't already have this downloaded, I'm going to have the link in the description, as well as the actual file inside of the zip folder that I provide you guys in my Discord. And once you guys have opened it and actually launched it and then ran it and restarted your PC, come back to DVD and make sure to activate it. And once you guys have actually installed, go over to the settings and then go to the overlay here and make sure this is ticked on. Now the shortcut's actually displayed right underneath this part where you tick it on. So make sure you remember what this is, because this is going to be important once you open the game. Once you guys open the game, you guys are going to want to use the shortcut. So I think by default, it's Alt-Z. And once you have it open, it should just take a banner just like Reshade on the left side of your screen. We're going to pretty much ignore all of these and then go over to game filter. So by default, I think it just creates its own profile. And so the main ones we're going to be actually adding is brightness and contrast, color, sharpen, and details. Now, ignore how the game looks right now because this is unfiltered. But we're going to go through these settings really quick. Now, for sharpen, we're going to keep it at 45. Clarity is 100. HDR toning 60. We're going to keep our bloom at 7. Now, for sharpening, you guys are going to want to turn the intensity to 10 and your ignore film grain to 0. Now, over at color, you guys are going to want to change the tint color to 18, the tint intensity to 23, and then your temperature at 0. Now, vibrance is going to make everything a lot more colorful. So if you guys don't want too colorful of a game, I'd recommend halving this and going to 30. But for me, I'm going to put this at 60. All right, now over to brightness and contrast. My exposure is 32. My contrast is 2. My highlights is 56. Shadows is -24 and gamma is 4. This will make everything a lot more clearer and brighter without actually like destroying your eyeballs. And so I definitely recommend these settings. Now, this is what the game looks like before with the filters off from Nvidia. This is what the game looks like after. It might look a little more grainy than actual Reshade, but that's why I recommend Reshade over Nvidia. However, you guys can fine tune the settings to how you like, but this is pretty much my favorite settings for Nvidia. However, this is really important for you guys on console as well because your monitor should have similar settings to this. And so for color or saturation, you guys will want to copy what I have for vibrance here, or just test out what works for you. And more often than not, you guys will actually have a brightness and contrast on your monitor or TV as well. So I highly recommend just playing around with these settings on your TV or monitor if you guys are on console and seeing what works best for you. Now, if you guys don't actually have any settings that you can do on console other than that, I highly recommend going over to accessibility, going into colorblind mode, and turning on tritanopia. What this will do, as you see here, will actually make all the colors a lot more saturated and more vibrant. So if you guys don't actually have the option for filters on your TV or monitor and you're on console, this is probably your best option. But yeah, that's how you guys get the best graphics and the best quality performance out of Dead by Daylight in 2025. If you guys do have any questions, make sure to comment them down below. There'll be a playlist that pops up with all my other tutorials on how to get the best performance out of your Dead by Daylight copy, and I highly recommend you guys watch those. With that being said, thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial.
Thank you for watching. Peace.
Cocaine, switch your pain on the floor. Still same, stop change, not the same anymore.